Have you ever been called something that's not your name? And then you're looking at them like, dude, that's not my name. Where people don't take the time to learn your name or they don't even care. They want to give you the name that's easy for them to remember. Why does this even matter that people call you by a different name? Because when people speak over you, they are taking control of who you are. They control the narrative of who you can be to them or to anybody. Why am I bringing this up? Because I'm doing a study on Daniel 3. Before I get to Daniel 3, you got to understand where this comes from. From Daniel 1, God's people have now been captured. The land of Judah has been ransacked, and the king and his family have been taken captive. And so are the people of Judah. So, what Nebuchadnezzar does when he captures these people, he gives them different names. He gives them names based upon his gods. Okay, so Nebuchadnezzar, his name comes from his own god, Nebu. Nebu is supposed to be the son of Marduk. Marduk is supposed to be the chief god. Nebu is the son of this god, and Nebu is the god of wisdom and writing, and he's the god of your fate. If he says something, that's what's going to happen. Even though he doesn't interfere, it just happens the way he says it. Nebuchadnezzar's actions against the people of Judah, the first thing was to change their names. He changes their names from the Hebrew names to Babylonian names. And most of us think, oh, it's just a name change. It don't really matter. When you enslave people, you take away their names so they don't remember who they are. You give them names of your God. Mm-hmm. Nebuchadnezzar turns around and says, no more of you being called what your God calls you, but you're going to go by the names I call you. I'm speaking over you. I'm in control of you. I'm in control of you based upon my God. So Daniel and his three friends go from being Daniel, whose name means my God is judge, to Belshazzar, which means Baal protect the king. The name Baal represents Marduk. Marduk has different names, and this is one of his names. Hananiah goes from being God has favored me or God is gracious to Shadrach, the command of the moon god. Mishael, whose name is who is what God is, who can be like him, to Meshach, who is like Aku. Aku is another name for Nebu. And then Azariah, whose name is Jehovah is my help, the Lord is my help, goes to Abednego, the servant of Nebo. So we got the basis of everything. So remember, Nebuchadnezzar has a dream. And none of his magicians or anybody, the wise men, could figure it out. They come to kill all the wise men. And Daniel says, hold up, don't kill us. Just give me some time. God will give us the answer. God turns around and gives Daniel the answer. And Daniel tells the king, Nebuchadnezzar, the answer to the dream. So Daniel interprets the dream. And now Daniel is elevated, and so are his three friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. They're all elevated. So what the king does next is, since he finds out that God is telling him that he's going to be this great king, instead of him saying, let me figure out what this God wants me to do, instead of that, he builds himself a statue to his own glory and brilliance and bases it upon his gods. And he wants everybody in his province to fall down and worship this image and to worship his gods. That's where we get back to chapter 3. So it's found out. We call them the three Hebrew boys, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. They refuse to bow. They hear the music, it don't mean nothing to them. It's not their God. So this makes Nebuchadnezzar so mad. He brings these three Hebrew boys to him, and like, you're not bowing? They're just like, no, we ain't bowing. Nope. The reason why we're not bowing because our God is the real God. No matter what you call us, no matter what you named us, no matter what gifts and trinkets you give me, I can't turn my back on the one that saved me. So if you're gonna punish us, go ahead and do it. We know that our God is more than able. He's more than capable of saving us. But if he doesn't, we're fine with it. We know he's got all power. This makes Nebuchadnezzar extremely mad. So mad, he says, all right, you already knew what the punishment was that you were going to be thrown in the fiery furnace. I'm going to make it 7 times hotter. The number 7 is the number for completion. That his anger and his fury is going to be poured out on you. That you're going to be completely consumed by this fire. That's what this is getting at. They're like, all right. So the thing that Nebuchadnezzar does, he tells his people to bind them up and throw them into the fire. To bind them by their coats, by their trousers, and then by their turbans. There's a reason why he says these 3 spots. He doesn't want any part of you to escape him. He's saying that I'm so big and bad that I control your every movement, that I control your emotions, and I control your mind. That there's no escape from what I'm about to do to you. That your God doesn't have the power to take you from my hands. I control all. I control your mentality. I control your emotions. I control your physical movement. And he has some of the mighty men from his army to bind them and to throw them into the fiery furnace. Now, when they throw them into the fiery furnace, these mighty men from his army are killed instantly. And it says that the 3 Hebrew boys fall down into the fiery furnace. Remember, it says they fail. And then after some time, he looks like, wait a minute. Then he asks his people, didn't we cast 3 into this furnace? The one I made 7 times hotter. The one that killed my mighty men. I'm like, yeah, king. He says, but I see 4. And they're walking around. And they're not bound. Remember when he threw them in, they fell down. But now they're walking around free. And he says, this 4th one that's in there, this is what Nebuchadnezzar is saying. The 4th one that's in there looks like the Son of God. Most of us don't understand when Nebuchadnezzar says, I see a 4th man. And he looks like the Son of God. Because we read this in English, we think all the gods are the same. We think he's just talking about any random god. You have people, well, he's just talking about some random god. No, he's not. He's being very clear on who he sees. Remember, his name is Nebuchadnezzar. Nebu or Aku is supposed to be the Son of God. He doesn't call the 4th man Nebu or Aku. He calls him the Son of God. He knows exactly who this is. So why does this all matter? That Nebuchadnezzar sees the Son of God in a furnace. Because you don't understand the dreams Daniel is going to have later about the Son of Man. You wouldn't understand it. In Daniel's dreams about the Son of Man, he's pictured as somebody that's been through a furnace. He takes on the judgment for sin. He takes on man's worst. And then he takes the punishment from God the Father to give you access back to the Father. Why do I talk about access? Remember, Nebuchadnezzar goes to the door of the fiery furnace, the same place that had killed his mighty men. He's now able They go to the door. Jesus says, I am the door. He's the door of the sheepfold. You can't come in any other way. If you try any other way, you're a thief and a robber. He's the door because he gives you access to the Father himself. Goodness. This is a picture of Christ dying on the cross, that he takes on the judgment for sin. When Daniel describes the Son of Man, he says his body is like burnished bronze, like it had been in a furnace. It represents Christ taking on the judgment for sin. Huh. And because he takes on the judgment for sin, those that walked out of this fiery furnace, they find out that the three Hebrew boys, their hair wasn't singed. Why does it talk about their hair and they had on turbans? The turban represented the mindset of Nebuchadnezzar, everything that was going on. He wanted to control their mind. That turban is now gone. That their mind is free. Not only is their mind free, by the renewing of your mind, that the crown of thorns that Christ takes on, that their body is free. Because the furnace seemed to burn off the things that held them bound. The judgment for sin, the payment for our redemption was paid for by Christ, and he took it all on, and then he tore down, ripped apart those things that had us bound. So our emotional well-being is now based upon him. Our emotions are based upon him. And then they were able to walk out freely. Nebuchadnezzar tells them to come out of the fire. And when they come out, he makes a declaration to all the kingdom and all the provinces. He's like, I don't care what you've heard. Their God is the Most High God. But why does he call him the Most High God? Most of us don't realize that he's calling him El Elyon. The first time you see this phrase, it's what Melchizedek calls God, the Most High God. This points forward to the New Testament. Every time a demon sees Christ, they say, I know who you are. You're the Son of the Most High God. You're the Most High God. We know who you are. Nebuchadnezzar goes on to say that if I find out you talk trash about the Most High God, if I find out you said anything disrespectful about it, I'll have you chopped up. He tells the three Hebrew boys that God sent his angel to deliver you. Because we don't do any study on anything. We just take somebody's word for it. The word angel doesn't mean somebody that's winged. It does not. It just means messenger. In the Old Testament, when the Jewish people were leaving Egypt and after they had left, God tells his people that I'm going to send my angel before you to drive people out the land. Don't disrespect him because my name is in him. God doesn't say his name is in anybody else except his son. Goodness. So when they walk out of the fiery furnace and their hair isn't singed, the body isn't all messed up, they didn't even smell like smoke, they're not bound or anything, they're a visual testimony of the power of God. Not only God the Father, but God the Son, the one that was in the fiery furnace with them. For we are not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation. For the Jew first, and then to the Gentile or to the Greek. God is showing you in every instance that salvation has always been for the world. It has never been just for the Jew. Never. We teach things that are in error because we don't understand what God is saying. So why does this all matter? The Nebuchadnezzar, who's named after the son of his God, has now confessed that the God of the 3 Hebrew boys and his angel are now his God. That there's no other God like him. Why does this even matter? Some of us have been so used to serving other gods and doing religious experiences and never knowing Christ himself, never knowing him crucified. We think because we go to a building and we associate with people that have the same name that we're serving Christ, and we're not. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nebuchadnezzar thought he was serving the real and true God, and he was not. Mm-mm. No. There are people that are waiting on the 3rd temple to be built because they think that's when they're going to really serve the true and living God. And they have missed his son. His son has been spoken of all through the Old Testament. And we're ignoring him. We're trying to bring back the priesthood of Aaron when that priesthood is done. Nebuchadnezzar gets to see face to face the power of God. He gets to see that he's powerless against the one true and living God. Some of y'all need to stand on this. We say we love God, but we're not willing to suffer with him. There are people that say they're Christians and don't want to suffer. We don't want everybody else to have the same thing that we have. We think that's taken from us. That we should never have to deal with anything hard. We should just be living graceful and elite lives with no problems. With we should never have any sorrow. All we should have is just joy. And that's never been scripture. Never. If you suffer with him, then you'll reign with him. We just want to reign down here. You think you are serving the true and living God, and you're not. You're serving a coup, a counterfeit. Okay, now this was the study of 3 Hebrew boys, a fiery furnace, and the Son of God.